Number 10. Lea Michele. The actress who played the most arrogant character on Glee has recently been outed as being one of the meanest celebrities in Hollywood. The music TV series that helped Lea Michele rise to fame was also her undoing, as it looks like the horrible way she treated the cast and crew on set came back to bite her. Many of her peers, including actress Samantha Ware, spoke out against her behavior. She told Variety, quote, "It was after I did my first performance. That's when it started. The silent treatment, the stare downs, the looks, the comments under her breath, the weird passive aggressiveness, it all built up." After Samantha spoke out, dozens of co-stars, film crew and staff flooded social media with stories about the diva. There were even reports of Michelle only speaking to people through her assistant and not acknowledging her co-star's presence. As expected, she came out and issued an apology, but people still haven't forgotten about her atrocious behavior, and when it was announced that she was replacing fellow actress Beanie Feldstein in the Broadway production of Funny Girl, fans were up in arms and some have even called for a boycott. Number 9. Mike Myers. His name is synonymous with the hilarious and charismatic character Austin Powers. However, the actor is reportedly completely different in real life, especially on set. There have been numerous reports suggesting that Myers is a nightmare to work with some even claiming him to be a control freak and grumpy. It has come to light that the actor makes tons of demands of his assistants. In fact, Myers reportedly made life a daily nightmare for the cast and crew of one of his biggest films. According to Amy Hill, who was his co-star in The Cat in the Hat, she said it was a horrible, nightmarish experience. Hill claimed that he selfishly kept everyone waiting for hours, overruled the director, and even had someone standing by just holding his personal chocolates in a dish. Quote, "It was so weird, it was just the worst, I was miserable." Another story involves a fan that offered to buy the actor a drink. After telling Myers how much he enjoyed his work, Myers allegedly just looked at him and said, "I can afford my own drinks," cursed at him, and said, "Save your money for my next movie." Ouch. Apart from being notoriously difficult to work with, his mean-spirited attitude towards regular people have shrunk his fan base down to a fraction of what it used to be. Number 8. Rachael Ray. The celebrity cook has a reputation for being a meanie. Many fans in her audience have reported that before filming her show, she often avoids speaking to them and appears cold and disinterested, and just looks like she would rather be somewhere else. But it's not just her fans. In fact, several famous chefs have publicly come out saying that they straight up don't like her, like Martha Stewart and the late Anthony Bourdain. Even members of Ray's own family have turned against her. In 2013, scandal broke out after Ray's aunt, Geraldine, tragically died while staying at Ray's house. But neither Ray nor her husband John showed up at the funeral. Instead, she was allegedly tweeting about cats, recipes, and TV shows, which led her cousin, Gina Mesnick, to speak out against her. Quote, "I found it very insensitive and inappropriate. It just shows how demeaning Rachael was to my family on the day we buried my mom after she died under such horrible circumstances." Her fan base is now practically non-existent. In fact, a good portion of the internet harbors deep loathing for the chef. There's so many online forums dedicated to Rachael Ray slander. In fact, there's even a blog called Rachael Ray Sucks, and you can guess what kind of things people post on there. Number 7. Russell Crowe. The actor has had a reputation for being outright mean to both his Hollywood peers and his fans, making him an extremely controversial figure in the industry. I mean, where to start with Russell Crowe? There were rumors that he threatened any media platform that published stories about him having a fling with Courtney Love. But a great example of his overall attitude is when he intimidated and attacked the producer of the BAFTA Awards for cutting his speech short and preventing him from reciting poetry. In 2005, he was then charged with criminal possession of a weapon for allegedly throwing a phone and cutting a hotel clerk's eye, all because he was unable to get connected with his wife. One of the lesser talked about but worrying incidents involves Crowe and rapper Azealia Banks. Crowe forcibly removed her from a party he was hosting. Not only that, but he was said to have been violent and allegedly spat on her and used racist language. The Australian actor is also notoriously difficult to work with and is known for regularly shouting at his scriptwriters, yelling at them on phone calls while discussing the story. So it's safe to say that he lost not only film roles but a lot of fans due to his outright nastiness. Number 6. Jared Leto. The actor and singer really seemed to be getting a lot of backlash in recent years, especially in the era of the Me Too movement. It seemed that out of his fellow Hollywood celebrities, not everyone was willing to be silent when they heard he was behaving inappropriately inappropriately towards young women. In 2018, Suit Life of Zack and Cody star Dylan Sprouse came forward on Twitter and brought disturbing allegations against him to light. Quote, "Yo, Jared Leto, now that you've slid into the DMs of every female model aged 18 to 25, what would you say your success rate is?" As you would have predicted, the tweet totally blew up and many people were happy that he was finally getting called out. The situation quickly escalated when Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn tweeted the following as an answer to Sprouse's initial tweet. Quote, "He starts at 18 on the internet? Aside from predatory behavior, Leto has treated his fans horribly and was seen on occasion randomly giving the finger to audience members. As a result, he really doesn't have many mainstream fans left, save for the fans of his cult/band 30 Seconds to Mars." Number 5. Ellen DeGeneres. She was one of the most popular talk show hosts in the world only a few years ago, with fans across the globe. But all that came crashing down for Ellen DeGeneres when she was exposed for being ruthless to her employees when the cameras weren't rolling, and just a downright mean-spirited person. Her motto was ironically, "Be kind," and that completely backfired on her when former employees started coming forward with their Ellen horror stories. In a BuzzFeed article, the comedian was labeled a bully and named as the culprit for creating a toxic work environment by one current and 10 former employees, who anonymously gave their true thoughts about her in the article. They essentially confirmed what up until then had only been rumors, with one TV writer claiming that Ellen required anyone who talks to her at work to chew gum from a bowl outside of her office first, and that she would frequently send staff home to shower if she thought that they smelled bad. While the accusations haven't hurt her bank balance, Ellen's image has been tarnished forever, and you'd have to search the internet for days to find anyone that still supports her. Number 4. Catherine Zeta-Jones. You wouldn't think the actress was someone with a bad attitude, but it appears that's exactly what she has. The most famous story about her happened way back in 1998, when an 8-year-old girl was attending a special screening of The Mask of Zorro. She went up to Catherine Zeta-Jones and asked her for some advice on acting, as that is the career path that she wanted to follow. Catherine allegedly looked her up and down and said sarcastically, "You're pretty enough, I suppose," before turning back to her conversation. Not to mention what she said in 2018, which really highlighted how she perceives herself. Quote, "I'm sick of being humble, I really am. Sorry I'm rich, so sorry I'm married to a movie star, so sorry I'm not so bad looking." In fact, according to Page 6, the actress regularly sings her own praises and brags about how much money she has compared to other people. In 2003, she was quoted saying, "$1 million isn't a lot of money for people like us." I mean, if that wasn't enough, she said, quote, "Some people collect art or lots of money. We collect houses because if we have to look at something, we prefer the view." Yeah, most people were not jumping to support the actress with a track record of saying things like that. Number 3. Katherine Heigl. Television medical drama Grey's Anatomy catapulted Katherine Heigl into the limelight. The thing is, she has a reputation of being extremely unpleasant to work with, and after trashing her most popular movie ever, she lost a whole bunch of fans. I'm talking about 2007's Knocked Up. It was not just hilarious, but very well received all round, scoring an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes and bringing in $219 million at the box office against a $25 million budget. But Katherine was less than thrilled about her participation in the movie and called the film sexist, telling Vanity Fair in 2008 that she thought the movie, quote, "paints women as shrews, as humorless and uptight. It paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys." She went on to say that she had a hard time with the film on some days because she said that her character was a B-word and a killjoy. Not only that, but Heigl's bad reputation stems largely from her decision to decline a second Emmy nomination for Grey's Anatomy in 2008. She released a cringy public statement that claimed she simply wasn't given the material this season to warrant an Emmy nomination. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Number 2. Jamie Lynn Spears. Someone that has lost all support from what little fan base she had to begin with is Jamie Lynn Spears. She's known pretty much as the younger sibling of Britney Spears, but she didn't exactly hide long in her sister's shadow before entering the limelight. Although she made a few appearances in film and television as a child, she didn't receive star status until landing the lead role as Zoe Brooks on the Nickelodeon show Zoe 101. After 3 years on the very popular show, the then 16-year-old announced that she was pregnant, effectively ending her role and putting her acting career on hiatus. But people dislike the star because of the horrific way she has treated her sister over the years. In fact, fans of Britney have heavily criticized Jamie Lynn for an apparent lack of support during her sister's 14-year-long conservatorship. In fact, the former actress has been accused of trying to steal Britney's fortune, fighting against the movement to free her from her conservatorship, and writing tell-all books to try and profit off of her sister's name while trying to make her look bad. With Britney now finally able to speak up for herself and reportedly working on her own memoir, it will probably result in even more exposure of Jamie Lynn's horrific behavior. Number 1. Faye Dunaway. Once called the worst person in Hollywood by Bette Davis, the Academy Award winner is no doubt one of the meanest people in the industry. In 2019, she was actually fired from the Broadway production of Tea at 5 because of bizarre behavior which included hurling objects at crew members and slapping her wig fitting team, throwing salad on the floor, and even insisting that no one wear white to rehearsal because it's distracting. That's not all. In fact, she reportedly shrieks at service industry employees and thinks that her plane tickets should be upgraded as a matter of principle. A flight attendant once claimed Dunaway was screaming at everyone, saying, "Don't you know who I am?" And while filming Chinatown, the actor once reportedly threw a cup of urine on director Roman Polanski because he wouldn't let her use the restroom. In 2019, she was also sued by her former personal assistant, who claimed that she regularly and relentlessly subjected him to, quote, demeaning tirades, and used his sexual orientation as a gay man against him. And according to an insider, Dunaway was so demonic on the set of Mummy Dearest that no one dared to approach her for fear of being verbally attacked.
In at number 10, Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is without a doubt a legendary comedic actor, but all of those pratfalls that he did in his youth must have really turned him into a grumpy old man. He has certainly earned himself perhaps the worst reputation in Hollywood from being just extremely difficult to work with. When it works, but most of the time he is a huge pain in the you-know-what. When actor and comedian Rob Huebel met Chevy at the Upright Citizens Brigade show, he was so excited that he accidentally interrupted a conversation that Chevy was in. Rob was a longtime fan and just couldn't contain his joy, but Chevy responded by slapping him in the face and then said, "Can't you see I'm talking to somebody, kid?"
Chevy just hauled off and slapped me across the face so hard. I mean, it was like I saw red.
In at number 9, Ariana Grande. Back in 2014, a man named Dan O'Connor and his daughters Jen and Kelly had actually won a contest sponsored by MTV, VH1, and Pepsi to meet Ariana Grande. The contest was advertised as Pepsi, MTV, and VH1 are giving you the chance to win an amazing trip to Los Angeles to hang with Ariana and watch her perform live at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. Dan wrote about the entire experience in his blog, and one big thing that I noticed was how much Ariana had changed in the period of just 3 years. Apparently he and his daughters had actually met Ariana back in 2011 when she had fame from her Nickelodeon show but still had not peaked into the pop star that we know her as today. Dan described her as the nicest celebrity that he had ever met and displayed so much patience to take photos with his daughters. Unfortunately, this time around it was a disaster. His daughters had to find their own transportation, they were not allowed entry when they arrived, then they waited several hours after the agreed upon time to meet Ariana, and when she finally came out to see them, it got worse. She spent 15 seconds, maybe, with each contestant winner, took an approved photo after asking them to delete the first few, and then she just left. In at number 8, Michael Jordan. Best known in Hollywood for his starring role in Space Jam, and a lot of people still love Michael Jordan for his basketball skills, one of his biggest fans was the rapper Chamillionaire, who actually ran into MJ at a party after a charity auction. However, when he approached Jordan for a photo, he said that this NBA legend completely shot him down. In fact, to be more specific, and according to Chamillionaire, Jordan said, "I ain't taking pictures with no N-word." Then when the rapper tried to explain that he was a huge fan and had just purchased a $7,000 commemorative Michael Jordan jersey, Michael just responded with, "I'll tell you what, you pay me $15,000 right now for a jersey from me, and I'll take the picture with you." What a terrible attitude. In at number 7, Christina Aguilera. Some people may not remember this, but back in 2011, Christina Aguilera was judging on The Voice and for whatever reason could not contain herself. She asked country singer Patrick Thomas, who was 20 at the time, to take his pants off 3 times. Apparently she doesn't get any better when her fans are famous either. Actress Valerie Bertinelli said that she once approached Aguilera to say that she thought she was a beautiful singer, to which Christina paid no attention to and replied with, "Yeah, whatever." And to make matters worse, she completely trashed Lady Gaga back in 2008. As reported by the LA Times, she was asked about the allegations of her stealing Gaga's image while promoting Bionic. In response, she said, "You know, that's funny that you mentioned that. This person was just brought to my attention not too long ago. I'm not quite sure who this person is, to be honest. I don't know if it is a man or a woman, I just wasn't sure. I really don't spend any time on the internet, so I guess I live a little under a rock in that respect." A little bit, Christina. Just a tad. In number 6, Sean Penn. Sean Penn is no stranger to letting his true colors shine bright. In 2009, he assaulted a paparazzi and vandalized his car. He once served 60 days in jail for punching a background actor and had to do 300 hours of community service for kicking another photographer. Then in 2013, while he was at a restaurant in a swanky San Francisco hotel, he witnessed a guy trying to just snap a photo. Must be a fan, and he just freaked out when he saw it. Is Sean Penn secretly a vampire that doesn't want his soul removed from taking photos? Like, I don't understand why he gets so angry, and I'll tell you why this is such a big deal. I understand how this could become very annoying after a while, but it still doesn't excuse this kind of disruptive behavior. According to TMZ, he walked over and slammed the man's phone on the table before telling him that he was going to make him eat his phone. Then as he was being escorted out of the restaurant, he yelled to the entire restaurant, "Do we look like zoo animals?" I mean, that is the definition of the word yikes, folks. In number 5, Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz has built up a nasty reputation of being notoriously reluctant to sign autographs, and she has said that she is against interacting with her fans at all. During the premiere of the movie Sex Tape in 2014, witnesses in attendance told Radar Online that the actress could not have been less interested in the fans. The weird thing was that the premiere was meant for the fans. It's not like these people followed her into a restaurant. She was scheduled to appear. Fans showed up early, waited outside for a glimpse, and then right when she was spotted by the fans, she outright refused autographs and told them, "If I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everyone." The fan that reported this info said, "Cameron was as unfriendly as can be, and it was really disappointing. There were literally only 4 or 5 fans waiting and asking for them when they left. It was not a huge crowd and would have taken them less time to sign an autograph or take a picture rather than giving a lecture about not doing it." Very true. In number 4, Tommy Lee. This is an interesting one because Tommy Lee kind of exposed himself for being an absolute nightmare, but it was his fans that provoked him to rant about not wanting to take photos with his fans. In an open letter posted to the band's Facebook page in June of 2012, Tommy said, "I f***ing love my fans, and you know this. If you asked anyone that knows me really well, they would tell you the same thing. Tommy loves his fans. He lives for this shit. He eats, breathes music 24/7. They'll also probably tell you that he's a down-to-earth, grateful, life-loving dude and a nice guy too. What I have a problem with is taking pictures. I hate it. Irritates the f*** out of me when people say, you owe it to your fans, they put you where you are, etc, etc. I certainly don't owe anybody anything. When I bought all my Led Zeppelin records and concert tickets, I didn't say, one day these f***ers are gonna owe me a picture. It's the least they can do for me. WTF, people, you don't admire something so that it can give back, you just cherish it. And to those who say, you should be grateful that people want to take your picture, maybe one day they won't want it. That day can't come soon enough. By the way, I'm not here to take pictures with you, I'm here to entertain you. I mean, it sounds like Tommy Lee just needs to take a nap, right? That just sounds like somebody who needs a nap. Just a quick power nap. And then that Facebook post would have never happened. In number 3, Martha Stewart. Reddit is always a nice place to read about honest accounts of meeting celebrities, and a user named Grateful Stickers posted this story and said, after waiting in line, my mother was refused an extra autograph, and she also wouldn't make out the one promised autograph to anyone but the person who was getting it. Even after explaining it was for her son, Martha refused. I could maybe understand if it was after signing 5,000 autographs or even 500, but it was a small event. That's only a small part of her being a At the very end of the event, as people were leaving, Martha Stewart was overheard talking to her mother, who happened to be with her. Martha's mom said, "What should we do with all these floral arrangements?" To which Martha replied, "We take them or throw them out. These common people don't deserve them, far too expensive, and they wouldn't appreciate their beauty." Yep, she said common people. Oh, Martha Stewart. In at number 2, Stephen Morrissey. A few years before the Smiths became a band, Morrissey sent a very nasty message in response to a fan's ad in Sounds magazine in 1980. See, a man named Robert Mackey from Scotland had submitted a letter to Morrissey. The 21-year-old star then replied with his own letter that said, "Dear Pearson, so nice to know there's another soul out there, even if it is Glasgow. Does being Scottish bother you? Manchester is a lovely little place if you happen to be a bedridden deaf mute. I'm unhappy, hope you're unhappy too. In poverty, Stephen." Look, this is just a prime example of what I have said on this channel many times. When you recognize your own pain, you can see it more clearly in others. The fact that Morrissey says, "I'm unhappy, hope you're unhappy too," just makes it as clear as day that he was absolutely miserable, and that's why this poor fan got a miserable response. Last but certainly not least, our number 1 spot, Justin Bieber.
Walk out the goddamn way, man. Damn.
Yes, that was Justin Bieber running over a photographer in his exotic car, showing zero regard for human life. On top of that heinous video, the star has also been known to spit on people he doesn't like, which sometimes includes his own fans. While at a hotel in Toronto with some friends, Justin took to his balcony where hundreds of people were desperately waiting outside to see a glimpse of the star, although he only emerged to hawk a loogie down towards them. After the disgusting act, the star seemed to be pleased with himself, turning to his group of admiring friends to laugh even. His impressed friends then joined in as they all crowded around and took a selfie on his phone just to remember the occasion, I guess.
In at number 10, Mila Kunis. Kicking off this list with one of the most bizarre lawsuits we've ever heard of is the Black Swan actress and That 70s Show star Mila Kunis. At the other end of this fan celebrity lawsuit is a woman named Christina Caro. Her claim was that she was a childhood friend of Mila's, and the lawsuit was accusing Kunis of stealing her pet chicken. Within the lawsuit, Caro was seeking $5,000 to pay for the therapy she needed after her beloved pet chicken was stolen. Although in a strange twist of events, the case was dismissed, and instead fans of Christina from this high-profile celebrity lawsuit helped her raise the money she needed. In at number 9, DaBaby. At a recent concert, not only did rapper DaBaby slap a fan, but days later he got smacked himself with a lawsuit. Not his first either. Although this fan celebrity lawsuit has become a bit of a heated debate online. Upon watching the video from multiple angles, one side is arguing in defense of DaBaby, saying that the fan smacked him first with her phone as her flashlight was shining in the rapper's eye, which you can kind of see from the video. Someone just bops him right on the forehead. Now this makes much more sense in the way that he responds. He appears to be disoriented by having this light in his eye, so he swings to knock whatever is doing that out of the way. Inadvertently, he slaps the woman holding the phone inches from his face. Now, that being said, in defense of the plaintiff, he smacked her extremely hard, and then without even an apology, he kind of just walked away like nothing happened. This is also unacceptable behavior. The woman that was slapped also claims that she wasn't even the one that bopped him with the phone in the first place, and that she was simply standing beside that person. She is suing for battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and other damages as well, and that's pretty much all we know in that case right now. In at number 8, Rihanna. Hey, remember when I said Mila Kunis getting sued over a stolen pet chicken was the most bizarre? I forgot about this one. A fan of Rihanna sued her after she allegedly contracted oral herpes at one of the pop star's concerts. She claims that it was contracted via a free sample of Riri's Woo lipstick. Her name is Darkema Greenridge, and she was seeking unspecified damages for the mental anguish and emotional distress that was caused by this lipstick. Excuse me if my eyes start to roll into the back of my head. The 28-year-old waitress from New York City told the press, "This is going to happen over and over again if nothing is done. I wasn't able to work for 2 weeks. It cost me a lot of money." And at the end of the day, upon seeing a doctor, it was diagnosed as just a cold sore, which definitely could have come from the lipstick if Rihanna's sponsors weren't, cleaning all of the test samples. But still, that's not Rihanna's fault. Speaking of herpes, in at number 7, Charlie Sheen. Back in the day, when Charlie Sheen was the star of the sitcom 2.5 Men, there was a character called Rose. She was kind of this obsessed stalker of Sheen's that ended up moving closer to him so that she could obviously stalk him further, In another odd turn of events though, a woman claiming she had romantic encounters with Sheen decided to sue the celebrity because she believed the Rose character was based on her likeness. So she must have been enough of a fan to watch the show and piece this together herself. The woman's name is Ursula Auburn, and she filed one of the most self-disparaging lawsuits I've ever heard of. Seriously though, when do you ever have a stalker admitting to be a stalker to win a court case? Auburn was seeking no less than $1 million in damages as well as punitive damages. Apparently, to avoid negative press, she just settled this case out of court. Probably for the best. In at number 6, Usher. Usher is a successful American R&B pop star who first began making music at the age of 15. Now at 41 years old, he has quite the illustrious career, and whether you're a fan of his or not, you definitely will recognize his influence. I mean, he was the main reason why Justin Bieber even rose to fame in the first place. Although sadly in 2017, he became famous for a much different reason. Usher had a lawsuit filed against him by 3 fans of his who claimed the singer gave them all herpes. Herpes, again, what's going on with herpes in LA? Although he never made a public statement in regards to this celebrity fan lawsuit, he is known by some for being accused of this before. Previously in 2012, an unnamed plaintiff sued Usher over a similar matter for which he settled out of court for $1.2 million. If that doesn't scream I'm guilty, I don't know what else does. In at number 5, Michael Jordan. The whole reason we have the movie Like Mike is because Michael Jordan was so famous and so talented at basketball that everyone wanted to be like Mike. Well, not everyone. Meet Alan Heckert of Portland, Oregon, who actually sued Michael Jordan because of how similar they looked. On the grounds of this resemblance causing emotional pain, suffering, defamation, and permanent injury, Alan also sued Jordan for $416 million. He also sued Nike for the exact same amount, claiming that they were the reason that Michael Jordan became a celebrity. Now, I don't want to be off base with this comment, so take it as my own personal remark on this lawsuit. Heckert said he couldn't go to church, play sports, or even ride the bus without someone asking, "Aren't you the guy from Space Jam?" Because I'm sure that's how people remember Michael Jordan. My beef with Heckert in this case is that he also shaved his head, got an earring in the same ear as Michael's, and started wearing Air Jordans. So yeah, I can understand why people were mistaking you for Michael Jordan. Either way, he eventually realized how crazy he was too and dropped the lawsuit. In at number 4, Snoop Dogg. This is perhaps one of the more reasonable fan celebrity lawsuits. The plaintiff, Richard Monroe Jr., was attending a Snoop Dogg concert, and when Snoop stepped into the audience, Richard believed this was his moment to hug his idol. As he rushed over to meet his favorite artist, a team of Snoop's security guards rushed in from the wings and tackled Monroe to the ground, resulting in major injuries. He was knocked unconscious, dragged off stage, and later woke up on the ground with a swollen face while laying in a pool of his own blood. Not exactly how you'd expect a Snoop Dogg concert to end, but hey. Richard sued for $22 million in damages, but was awarded just under $500,000. While the jury felt for him, they also believe that Snoop shouldn't be to blame for this. Apparently because he was in the courtroom so many times with Snoop Dogg, they actually ended up becoming really close. An odd way to end this story, but hey, at least it's a happy one. You know, other than his face getting smashed in. In at number 3, Taylor Swift. A lot of fans of celebrities will try to get their attention through, tweets, maybe fan art, maybe a gift, but for Russell Godfrey Greer, he took a much more unusual approach. Greer recorded a love song for Taylor Swift and decided to sue the pop star on the grounds that he not only deserves her attention, but has a legal right to it. Unfortunately for him, Taylor's managers put the kibosh on this love song early on, which only enraged the fan. You see, Greer believed that if Taylor could accept other gifts given to her by fans, then why would his song not be allowed through? Maybe because it was creepy. I don't know, maybe it was creepy. But just a thought. He even wrote a book called Why I Sued Taylor Swift and How I Became Falsely Known as Frivolous, Litigious, and Crazy. And perhaps the best review of his book was the person who said, "A crazy stalker's quest to sue Taylor Swift into having a date with him. Interesting because it's written by the stalker himself and not a third party intending to make the stalker look crazy. Cut out the middleman, get the insanity straight from the source." I think we got another rose in the chat. In at number 2, Justin Bieber. When you're as big of a celebrity as Justin Bieber is, it's only a matter of time before someone somewhere finds a reason to sue you. For Justin, he's been sued a few times, and some for good reason and others that are just plain ridiculous. This one sort of falls down the middle. In 2013, he was being sued by a woman that claimed her eardrums broke during all of the screaming fans at his concert, like it's his fault that he's a dreamboat. The mother, whose name is Stacey Betts, initially filed the lawsuit without a lawyer to back her up, and even though she asked the court to dismiss her case, she still believed that she was in the right. After taking her daughter to a Bieber concert in July of 2010, she claimed that her hearing had been permanently damaged, which is simultaneously a great roast joke on Justin, like his music was so bad that it made me go deaf. Imagine that was her defense. Guarantee the judge would have been on her side. First, she sued Bieber, then his label, then the concert promoter, and finally she sued the arena itself for $9.23 million in damages. And as I mentioned though, the case was dismissed and never really materialized into anything more. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Miley Cyrus. Now in 2009, we all still had fond memories of Miley Cyrus simply being known as Hannah Montana, although soon enough that Disney-fied image would be flipped on its head when this photo came out. Now Miley claims that this photo with friends was simply her making a silly face, but it's quite clear what's going on here. The photo led a Los Angeles woman named Lucy J. Kim to file a $4 billion lawsuit against the pop star. Kim said that the photo violated the civil rights of Asian Pacific Islanders. Furthermore, Kim claimed that the payment would be doled out to each of the Asian Pacific Islanders in the LA County, which is roughly 1 million people, who she believed deserved about $4,000 each from this traumatizing photo. I mean, I get where she's coming from, but it's a little much, isn't it? Cyrus, who was 16 at the time, insisted that the photo was taken out of context, but regardless of her excuses, she apologized if it offended anyone. And 9 months later, the lawsuit was just dropped. Although, just for a frame of reference, that $4 billion she was asking for is ludicrous. Cyrus was only worth about $160 million at the time, which is barely 4% of what she asked for.
Kicking things off at number 10, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is one of the most famous NBA players of all time, but just because he's well liked doesn't mean he has to play nice with everyone. Michael is known to be pretty hostile towards his fans, and frankly he wants nothing to do with them. The athlete is known to be kind of an a-hole when meeting his fans, and he just generally doesn't want to interact with them. He's lost quite a few loyal fans because of his poor attitude towards them. On top of that, he also refuses to take pictures with any other celebrity, so if you're famous and you want a picture with a basketball legend, you'll either have to pay up or you're out of luck. In our number 9 slot, we have Cameron Diaz. One of the most common things fans ask from celebrities are autographs. Some celebs are happy to sign something for their adoring public, and often others decline. When it comes to actress Cameron Diaz, she has a reputation for turning on her fans when they ask for an autograph in a pretty unique way. Instead of politely declining or even just screaming no at people like other stars do, Cameron likes to lecture everyone who asks her for something. Almost like when your mom gets mad at you for like something really small and petty. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Cameron gets angry and goes on a tangent about her not wanting to sign things. In her defense, it's kind of reasonable when she says that if she signs something for one person, then she has to sign something for everyone else. But still, when a fan comes up to you, the last thing they're looking for is an angry lecture. Coming in at number 8, Madonna. Pop star Madonna is always out here creating and performing for her fans, so I think it's safe to say that she's under some stress. Well, in one incident back in 2015, stress seems to have gotten the best of her. After being over an hour late to her concert in Manchester, fans were getting really upset with the singer. Fans started booing Madonna for making them wait so long. Well, I guess this struck a mighty large nerve for Madonna because she clapped back, and boy did she clap back hard. She began ranting to the audience about the people who were upset with her and used some pretty foul language that is frankly not safe for YouTube. She also called the fans some pretty nasty names and made a huge spectacle about the whole ordeal. Now, in Madonna's defense, she did say that the show's delay was caused by a malfunction, so her outburst was probably caused by the fact that she was pretty stressed. But after waiting for so long and receiving some pretty nasty words on top of that, Madonna's fans felt pretty betrayed after that night. At number 7, Jared Leto. Imagine going to your first concert, trying to sing along to your favorite band's lyrics, and getting ridiculed for it. That's what happened to one fan at a 30 Seconds to Mars concert in Brazil. Band frontrunner Jared Leto is known to be a pretty chill guy when it comes to his fans, but he's also known to get pretty frustrated with them too. During a portion of his concert, Jared asked the audience to sing along with him. As he looked into the crowd, he saw one fan in particular who was struggling to sing all of the words correctly. I guess this made Jared a little unhappy to see his fans butchering his lyrics, and he flipped her the bird. Not very nice of you, Jared. It was the girl's first time at a 30 Seconds to Mars concert, and you know she was just trying her best. There's actually a video of the incident on YouTube, and Jared does not look happy on stage. At number 6, Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire played the lovable crime fighter Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi trilogy, and from that point, fans fell in love with the actor because of his on-screen persona. But would you believe that he's quick to turn on his fans? Yeah, he's been seen on multiple occasions being rude to his fans and yelling at paparazzi every time they come up to him. His antics got so bad that Hollywood labeled him as Bully Maguire. Yeah. He was even seen slapping a camera out of a photographer's hand in a fit of rage. And it's not just his fans he turns on. No. Author Molly Bloom had an unpleasant encounter with the actor at a casino where he offered her a $1,000 poker chip if she barked like a seal. When Molly refused, as honestly anyone would, he replied, "What's wrong? You're too rich now? You won't bark for $1,000? Looks like Toby's the one who's too rich and famous to play nice. The fame must have gone to his head, and now he thinks he can bully anyone he likes. Halfway through at number 5, Catherine Zeta-Jones. There's nothing worse than your childhood idol crushing your little soul. Unfortunately, this exact thing happened when a fan met actress Catherine Zeta-Jones. One 8-year-old fan who looked up to Catherine as an idol got the chance to meet the actress one fateful day. Unfortunately for her though, that day turned sour pretty quickly. When the little girl got her chance to speak to Catherine looking for a little bit of Hollywood wisdom, she told her that she wanted to be an actress when she grew up. Catherine then turned to the child, looked her up and down and said, "Well, you're pretty enough, I suppose." Ouch. The kid, who is now an adult, recounted the story saying that she became pretty self-conscious about her appearance from that point on. Never meet your idols, I guess. And at 4, Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez is one of the most famous women in Hollywood, so naturally she's bound to have a lot of fans. J-Lo is also known to be pretty difficult with her fans too. It's pretty understandable that you get overwhelmed by the amount of eyes on you at all times, but sometimes it can get the best of her. Jennifer is known to have turned on a few fans either by lashing out or even getting them fired from their job. That's right, one fan definitely isn't looking up to J-Lo anymore. It was reported that the Hollywood icon had gotten a maid fired just for asking for an autograph. Just a single piece of paper with a signature. That's it. I mean, if she asked for a photo, sure, that'd be one thing, but writing on a napkin? That certainly does not warrant losing your job. Other people have reported their run-ins with Jennifer, saying that she's not really that nice to her fans, but this situation really shows how a star can turn on a fan. Coming in at number 3, Christian Bale. Have you guys seen that new Batman trailer? The Robert Pattinson one where he's like super violent and dark? Well, this next scenario reminds me a lot of that. Christian Bale, known for his role as Batman in The Dark Knight, is known to have a pretty bad attitude on and off set. It probably benefits his Batman character, but still. He also has a reputation for being pretty mean to his fans. In one instance, however, he went full Bat mode and really turned on the fan. He allegedly threatened them with a screwdriver and said that they should be eliminated, and he would thrust the screwdriver into their eye and into the part of the brain that prevents any screaming. WTF, dude? Now, I don't know what happened during their exchange which would have prompted this kind of behavior, but my god, man, simmer down. You're not really Batman. Keep the toolboxes away from Christian. In at number 2, Rihanna. Rihanna is famous for her killer style and red carpet looks, so when a fan went to prom in a Rihanna-inspired getup, you'd think she'd be pretty flattered. Wrong. When Riri's 16-year-old fan posted a picture of a pantsuit inspired by the pop singer, she pretty much threw it back in the kid's face. Rihanna posted a side-by-side picture of the two outfits and ridiculed the teenager on Twitter. She made jokes about how the fan looked like the Wu-Tang Clan symbol and even included the hashtag prombat. Ouch. The fan went on to say how humiliated she felt and mentioned that Rihanna doesn't love her fans like she claims she does. Imagine loving a celebrity so much to go so far as to dress like them, only to be publicly ridiculed by the person you look up to. Capping things off at number 1, Robert Pattinson. This one's gonna hurt some Twilight fans out there. So basically, Robert Pattinson hates you guys. No, but really. He's been known to have his grievances with the Twilight franchise, including the fans. In an interview that came around the time of the releasing of Breaking Dawn Part 2, Pattinson was asked about his thoughts on the film, and he said that he really would have hated the films were he not part of them. He also really couldn't understand why people liked the movies in the first place, and he has a dislike for the fandom as well. When asked about what he may have stolen from the Twilight movie set, he replied with, "My dignity." He really turned on the very people who raised him up during those movies by being so vocal about how much he disliked them and everything they stood for as a fandom. Obviously that must have hurt a lot of fans to see the guy they've been gushing over for years just brush them aside like that.
Coming in at number 10, we have Nicki Minaj. If there's one vital lesson the music world has taught us over the years, it's that we should never mess with Nicki Minaj. Over the years, the rapper has cemented herself as a wig-loving, explicit lyric delivering, no-nonsense force to be reckoned with. So it was only natural that she would have her fair share of feuds with other celebrities that have sparred with the likes of Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Mariah Carey, and more. However, back in April of 2016, Nicki would tell Ellen that she regrets her past feuds by saying, "I'm a sweet person and I don't want to be mean to people." Nonetheless, that hasn't stopped Minaj from carrying the occasional feud. However, after Nicki decided to beef with Cardi, a lot of fans would be left leaving Nicki behind because it became clear that if you're going to come up into the industry, it doesn't sit well with Minaj as she wants to remain the best female rapper alive. When it started to make headlines that Nicki may have said something about Cardi B's child culture, and Cardi even would take her shoe off and throw it at Nicki's head, it would hint that Nicki might not be the sweet Barbie she's trying to portray herself to be. Coming at number 9, we have Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is known for her relatable personality and sense of humor, but she's actually not really
nice to her fans, and she's even admitted to being incredibly rude, and that she does it on purpose when she's in public. During Variety's Actors on Actors series in 2017, Jennifer would have a conversation with comedian Adam Sandler. During the conversations, both would discuss how they both handle the attention they receive from their fans, and it's pretty clear that both like to take different approaches. When Adam referred to Jennifer as being famously light and approachable, she seemed to disagree and suggested that her true temperament might diverge from her perceived persona. Jennifer would then go on to say, "I just generally, once I enter a public space, I become incredibly rude. I turn into a huge a-hole." Jennifer would then use even more colorful language to describe herself later on. While the star tends to get icy with her fans in public, she would note that she does it because it's the only way she knows how to defend herself. So if you ever see Jennifer in public and want a selfie, just know she's most likely going to bluntly say no, and if you see her at a restaurant when she's trying to enjoy her meal, she's just gonna give you a sour look, wag her finger, and tell you she's not working today. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have Adam Levine. Adam Levine is no stranger to the conversation surrounding his alleged rude behavior. Adam is known to often even embrace it, and like many jerks before him, he repeatedly tries to gaslight the public into loving him anyways. The Maroon 5 singer is also known to get pretty rude with his fans when they simply just ask him for an autograph. In one incident, Adam would even proceed to call one of his fans ugly and refuse to sign an autograph for them. If that wasn't bad enough, in an interview with Cosmopolitan, Adam would also express his opinions on cheating, and he would even continue to go on to make excuses for men and why they tend to do it. He would then also go on to admit to cheating himself, and he really didn't seem so upset about his actions. And the fact that he cheated on his stunning wife with Sumner Stroff and he tried to name his child after her proves that there's something truly disturbing when it comes to his personality. Not to mention, but there's also been several occasions where he's just been totally rude on stage towards friends. To be honest, Adam has always acted like a bit of a tool, so it's no surprise to find out he's one of the rudest celebrities out there. Number 7, Tobey Maguire. While it's well known that Tobey Maguire isn't a fan of the paparazzi, he has also behaved questionably with others. One of the biggest incidents he was involved in occurred back in 2014 during a high-stakes poker game hosted by Molly Bloom. It's been said that Tobey often took part in Molly's poker games alongside of other celebrities such as Leonardo DiCaprio and Ben Affleck. However, on one occasion, Spider-Man showed his true colors when he once offered Bloom $1,000 worth of poker chips, but only if she barked like a seal. It said that Tobey purposely tried to embarrass Molly in front of big-name celebrities because she was winning so much that night, and it would later be revealed that this was all part of Tony's plan to take control of the poker game, and that's exactly what he ended up doing after he sent Molly out of business. Today, Tobey is more of a private person whose once over-the-top party lifestyle has been tapered down after he became a dad. And there aren't too many stories about him displaying rude behavior over the past decade, but for this incident alone, he does deserve a place on this list today, because who tells someone they'll give them $1,000 to bark like a seal? Hilarious, don't get me wrong, but it's completely uncalled for. Number 6, Britney Spears. Back in November, a Zoe 101 actress, Alexa Nicholas, would spill some tea about her time working on the Nickelodeon series, and honestly, after hearing her story, it made me pretty much hate the whole cast of Zoe 101 for being so cruel to her. In one of her stories, she would detail a very traumatizing experience she had with Britney Spears. During the now viral podcast, Alexa would recount that a talent coordinator told her and her mom he was taking her to hair and makeup, but instead he ended up bringing the preteen to talk with Britney. When Alexa walked into Jamie Lynn's trailer, she said that Britney Spears started to yell at her as Jamie Lynn hid in the back of the room. Alexa would then go on to note that even though Britney had gone on to apologize to her personally, Nickelodeon still hasn't. Alexa also would say it wasn't okay because she was 12 and 13 years old at the time, but in retrospect, she knew the dynamic that was in place for her. She said, "I think of course that's what ended up happening, and I think like, oh my god, poor Britney,
She's in a horrible situation. However, even if Britney was 8 months pregnant at the time, there wasn't really a reason for her to have an unhinged moment with a star her sister chose to bully for no reason. After the incident, Alexa would be left crying in her trailer, and all the show's creator, Dan Schneider, did was give her a DVD player to get her to stop crying. Number 5, Ariana Grande. Now, I know you're probably saying there's no way Ariana Grande is mean, as she always appears to be this super sweet girl, but trust me when I say it's honestly all just a facade. There have been dozens of stories floating around Hollywood for the last decade that surround the star's poor behavior. Today, Ariana is mostly known for often blocking her fans on Twitter when they express a less than flattering opinion about her on her music, despite being all about having the freedom to say what you want to say. She also left Mac Miller when he was going through a tough time and struggling with substances and abuse and issues, but then came out to support Demi Lovato when it suited her narrative. There's also been a story about a man named Dan O'Connor who won a competition to meet Ariana. Dan would bring his daughters along, who were obviously really excited to meet the star, and after a long day of waiting for her, when Ariana finally met with them, she reportedly only spent 15 seconds with them, took a photo, and demanded that they delete the photo. If that doesn't scream diva-like behavior, she also licked donuts in a donut shop she didn't pay for, and just continues to display this really odd behavior. Number 4, Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera has a beautiful voice, but a bad reputation. Since 2008, she's been in a pretty long feud with Lady Gaga, which started in 2008 when she was accused of stealing Gaga's look when promoting Bionic. And in her response to the issue wasn't really the best. Christina would end up telling Los Angeles Times, "You know, that's funny that you mentioned that. This person, Lady Gaga, was just brought to my attention not too long ago. I'm not quite sure who this person is, to be honest. I don't know if it is a man or a woman. I wasn't sure. I really don't spend my time on the internet, so I guess I just live under a rock in that respect." While the duo would put their feud behind them and do a remix to Gaga's Do What You Want together, it's just been said that working with Christina isn't exactly a treat, with multiple sources claiming that working with Christina is already difficult enough. Apparently working for the star is even worse. Insiders even told OK Magazine that her constant diva demands have led to most of her staff to throw in the towel and seek employment elsewhere. A source within tell the tabloids that Christina is incredibly rude and demanding, and she treats her household staff terribly, insisting that they be on call 24/7, and that she'll even call staff on the other side of the house to grab a towel that is just mere feet away from her. Number 3, John Mayer. Over the course of 2 decades, John Mayer has sold more than 20 million records, earning him multiple Grammys, and he's even traveled the world with top grossing tours. And yet, despite all of his success, people still don't like the man. While he may be extremely talented, that hasn't stopped him from displaying some pretty rude behavior. Over the years, the man has been responsible for Your Body is a Wonderland, has had a history of bad behavior that has stemmed from being misogynistic and racist, and while John regularly tends to make sexist and racist comments through his career, he has also gone on to say some pretty hurtful things about his ex-girlfriends, and he has somehow, despite all of his problematic behavior, managed to continue to have a very successful career without being cancelled. And it seems like as long as you're good looking and you can sell a handful of records and make a lot of money, you can get away with anything in the music industry. However, when John did Jennifer Aniston dirty in 2008, after he confessed that he broke up with her because he didn't want to waste his time with somebody that wasn't right for him, he came off as a total jerk who was only interested in taking credit for the breakup, and Jennifer didn't deserve that. Number 2, Kanye West. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's divorce was messy to say at least, but the drama between the former couple just continues to escalate due to Kanye's increasingly alarming behavior, which stems from accusations that Kim was withholding her children from him and over the fact that she was dating Pete Davidson for a bit. Kanye has continued to head to his social media accounts to express his anger and frustrations while making an attempt to bully Kim in front of the world. Kanye's social media presence is a constant target to Kim and her former partner Pete Davidson. Kanye has been creating a dangerous and scary environment, and while he does seem to come out to take accountability for some of his actions, he just jumps right back into his old ways and creates more damage. It seems like anything pertaining to Kim and Kanye keeps making headlines as Kanye keeps engaging in the idea that it's okay to harass his estranged wife and that his behavior is justifiable because he's just protecting himself. While Kanye is struggling with his own mental health, his constant attacks on his ex-wife are hurtful and causing further pain to their family. While a lot of Kanye's fans continue to see there's nothing wrong with his actions, he has continued continue to act out in problematic ways, and his actions are just so unjustifiable at this point. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is constantly being criticized for his rude behavior, as the Peaches singer has been a part of several controversies, especially when he was younger, with rumors stating that he cheated on Selena Gomez, he has a habit of spitting on fans, or getting arrested for driving under the influence. He has faced massive backlash every single time. While the star has definitely grown a lot since getting married to Hailey Bieber, in 2018 he would find himself getting called out again, and this time by famous singer and dancer JoJo Siwa, after she claimed that Justin was rude to her in a TikTok video. When JoJo bought a custom BMW 4 years ago, Justin Bieber would comment on the photo and tell JoJo to burn it. JoJo would then take a screenshot of the comment and say, "POV, you're Justin Bieber when I got my first car." The audio in the back of the video also played the lyrics that said, "Did I say stand there and look stupid? No, I said burn it." This audio was made for me. Though Justin tweeted about the same video in 2018 as well and said it wasn't malicious or mean-spirited, JoJo still decided to call him out and name him as one of the meanest celebrities she has ever met.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Justin Bieber. I'm not gonna lie, there was once a point in my life when I was sick with that Bieber fever. But in more recent years, he's been making headlines for treating his fans poorly, and I am just not cool with that. It is no secret that the singer publicly announced a few years ago that he will no longer be taking pictures with fans in public. Some people were mad, some were heartbroken, and some couldn't care less. There has been a list of incidents reported by fans of him being disrespectful in some way or another. One incident was at a concert he was performing in Manchester, England. He was trying to explain the meaning behind his Purpose album title, but the fans were obviously screaming with excitement, as fans do at a concert. He got so mad that he said in the mic, I quote, "I thought I could have a moment to say something, but if you guys want, I can cut the bull. I'm trying to engage, but if you guys don't want it, I'll play the music." Like, damn, people are just excited to see you. I literally go insane at concerts. But that doesn't beat out the time he also punched one of his fans in the face. During an encounter with a fan in Barcelona, a fan had reached inside his car window trying to touch him, and Bieber punched him, leaving him with a bloody mouth. Now, some people say that it was the fan's fault for touching him, but a punch to the face? Like, if anything, just push the guy's hand away. A bloody mouth? That just kind of seems a little unnecessary to me. But what do you guys think? Next up at number 9 is Christina Aguilera. I was surprised to hear this one because she does seem nice from what we've seen all over the media. But it was an actor who opened up about their negative experience with the singer, one who was very excited to meet her. Remember Damien from the movie Mean Girls? You know, the too gay to function best friend? Yeah, it was him. And remember the scene where he sings Christina's song Beautiful in the talent show? Well, he had the chance at meeting her and he was excited to share that fun little bonding moment. But Christina wanted no part of it. During an interview with Yahoo Movies while celebrating the 10th anniversary of Mean Girls, he opened up about his experience of meeting the legendary singer. He said, I quote, "I met Christina Aguilera and I thought for sure that would be an exciting moment in my life. I was like, Christina, my name's Daniel. I sing Beautiful in Mean Girls." And she was like, "Never saw it," and then turned her back and walked away. She was so rude. I would personally be devastated if I was him and that happened. I don't know if I believe that she's never seen that movie though. Either way, you don't have to be rude about it. Sliding into the number 8 spot is Michael Jordan. The basketball legend has a handful of stories against him that claim he is just plain mean. One of them comes from the rapper Chameleonaire, who was thrilled to meet his basketball hero back in 2009. The rapper crossed paths with Jordan at the party for him after throwing down $7,000 for one of his jerseys at a charity auction. He says that he saw Jordan posing for pictures with some ladies at the party, so he thought that it was his only chance to ask. He approached Jordan, who was sitting next to Spike Lee and Paul Pierce, and asked for a picture. He tells the story saying, "They were just chilling and I said, I don't mean to be rude, but Mike, I just wanted to know if I could get a picture." According to Chameleonaire, Jordan responded with, "I ain't taking pictures with no inappropriate racist term." He went on to explain how he is a huge fan and paid 7 G's for one of his jerseys, and Jordan got mad and said, I quote, "You know what? I tell you what, you pay $150,000 right now for a jersey for me and I'll take a picture with you." Cham says he was so heated and definitely didn't expect his response. And no, he never got a picture with him or even an apology. Taking over the number 7 spot is Robert Pattinson. The Twilight actor is known to have a sour attitude, dissing his own Twilight movies and also the author who wrote the book that made him famous. But people were still surprised to see his negative attitude towards fans, seeing as he wouldn't have the life he does if it wasn't wasn't for them. When he was interviewed for the German edition of Interview magazine, he spoke about his wild fan base and he questioned what his Twilight fans do all day. He said, "The real odd thing about this Twilight target group is that they aren't really teenagers. Most of them are older. Sometimes I ask myself what these masses of people do the whole day. They sit in front of their computers and comment on anything having even remotely to do with Twilight." He also referred to his fans as a crap group of crazies during an interview with Howard Stern. He's known for being blunt, but it might be better to say positive things about the people who kind of are supporting your career. And at number 6 is Tobey Maguire. He took on a role in the movie Molly's Game, which required the cast to get familiar with poker playing. According to Molly Bloom, Tobey was, I quote, "was the worst tipper, the best player, and the absolute worst loser." She says that she would organize games for Tobey, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Ben Affleck. Molly opened up about a cocktail waitress who would take home more than $50,000 a night, so they nicknamed her Poker Princess. Of course, she was a fan of the actor, but Tobey apparently felt that she was making too much money and humiliated her in front of other players when he ordered her to, I quote, "bark like a seal who wants a fish" for a $1,000 chip. The waitress tried to laugh it off, but he continued by saying, "I'm not kidding. What's wrong? You're too rich now? You won't bark for $1,000? I mean, even if she wasn't a fan of his, she still wouldn't deserve to be talked to like that. I've obviously never met him, so I don't know, but I don't like his little ego in this story. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Rachel Ray. The celebrity chef and TV personality has her own daily talk and lifestyle show called Rachel Ray. Fans buy tickets to her show on a daily basis so they can be a part of the live experience. On TV, Rachel's personality is bright and friendly, but one fan who attended the live show said differently. A fan took her personal review to TripAdvisor and rated her experience a 1 star out of 5. Her review had a whole story of her experience, and in it she stated, I quote, "When she came out to greet the audience, she was cold, even seemingly annoyed that she had to do the show. She complained. She rolled her eyes and was not at all the perky, spunky personality we've come to know on her show." The fan went on to say that she also had the chance to see how she acted towards her staff, which she said was disheartening. She claims that Rachel would say things like, "use your head," to some of the staff who seemed to be walking on eggshells around her. She ended her review by saying, "Thanks Rachel Ray, I won't be contributing to your viewership again." Damn. That is super exciting because people buy tickets to experience your live show and obviously they expect to see what they watch from home, hence why they bought a ticket. Just go to Ellen next time. In spot number 4 is Spike Lee. He's famous for a lot of things and one of them happens to be his poor attitude that he doesn't even attempt to hide when interacting with his fans. Not only his fans but also other celebrities and co-workers. Throughout the years, many people who have interacted with him have come forward saying how disrespectful he can be. One incident was when he was visiting a university to give a public lecture and apparently cut his visit short by 40 minutes. People had purchased tickets to attend the event, so they were disappointed about it being cut short, but apparently he also wouldn't answer fan questions. After the lecture, there was supposed to be a scheduled Q&A, and fans reported that he would barely answer the fans' questions and looked very irritated and annoyed. Overall, he has a very successful career, but his reputation could use some work. Plus, the fans attending the events were obviously students, so like damn, students are broke. If they bought a ticket, give them what they paid for. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Sean Penn. It is no secret that the actor was first sentenced to 60 days in jail after punching a movie extra in the face, and then given 300 hours of community service for kicking a photographer. It's safe to say that the actor has a short temper and doesn't like having his picture taken. But having the lifestyle he does, he can expect fans to want to photograph with him or even of him. It's just what fans do. Back in 2013, after a sales conference in San Francisco, he became furious after a fan tried to take a picture of him. The fan had attended the conference which he spoke at, and they were in the lobby when he tried to snap the pic. A witness at the lobby bar says that Penn bolted after the guy screaming, "Do we look like effing zoo animals?" He then grabbed the man's phone and smashed it on the ground. In a video that was captured of the altercation, you can hear Penn yelling, "I'll make you eat the phone. Get the F out of here." The hotel management where the conference was held asked if the man wanted to press charges, but he declined and left. I can understand it can get frustrating to have your picture taken all the time, but there's a million different ways that could have been handled better. In spot number 2 is Conor McGregor. I would probably be afraid to even confront the fighter after seeing what he's capable of in the octagon, but many fans are thrilled to meet him and take iconic pictures with him. However, one night the UFC champion just didn't feel like having his picture taken, I guess. He was arrested and charged earlier this year in February 2019 after taking a man's phone and smashing it to the ground to destroy it. Connor was walking outside of a hotel in Miami when a fan began to take pictures with his phone. He saw the cameras flash and immediately snatched the fan's phone, threw it on the ground, stomped on it, and then picked it up and carried it away with him. The whole thing was caught on tape and the man filed a lawsuit against him to sue him for battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress. He demanded $15,000 for repairs, but the two of them reached a settlement. He was also facing charges with felony robbery and misdemeanor criminal mischief. All of this because a fan wanted to take a picture of you? Really? Like, your fans are half the reason why you're here. Probably more than half. Shake my head. In our number 1 spot is Christian Bale. The actor is famous for his acting skills, but also for being rude on the set of movies. We will never forget his iconic Terminator rant video. But his former publicist wrote a tell-all book called Christian Bale: The Inside Story of the Darkest Batman, which shares disturbing stories about the star. She wrote in her book that he was often disrespectful when fans would approach him. She says he would, I quote, lecture little girls about being rude and intrusive until tears streamed down their faces and their parents tugged them away from our table. Another more disturbing story was told, which shared the story of a fan who sent him a letter to his house. You know, fan mail. It's normal. Apparently, Bale told his publicist the fan should be eliminated and said, I quote, a screwdriver thrust through the eyeball into the brain prevents any screaming. Let me know how it goes. Isn't that like considered a threat or something? How does this guy get away with all these temper tantrums? That's what I want to know. How does he even have any fans left?
In at number 10, Jack Maynard. Jack Maynard was once part of the British reality TV series called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Jack had to pull out of the show though just after 3 days in the jungle, and part of the reason had nothing to do with actually surviving in that jungle. The YouTube star, who has 1.53 million subscribers, was exposed big time when a series of nasty tweets from 2011 to 2013 began to emerge. In addition to the racist and homophobic tweets that he put out, he was also accused of soliciting nude photos from a 14-year-old fan on his Facebook account. All of these tweets have been deleted from his Twitter page, but there were a ton of screenshots where he called people the N-word, like a ton of tweets where he did this. His representative went on to tell the press that Jack is ashamed of these tweets and that he would never use that language now and realizes this kind of retaliatory, inflammatory, insulting language is completely unacceptable. In response to this, Jack said, I'm sorry to anyone that I upset, anyone that I offended, anyone that I made feel uncomfortable. Growing up, I was all over social media, my entire life was on social media, and through that it led to my job. I've tweeted some bad things, some horrible things that I'm ashamed of. I never wanted to make anything like this. I feel like I've let you guys down so much. I was young, I was stupid, I was careless, I just wasn't thinking. Well, we know that much is true. In at number 9, Ellen DeGeneres. Not only does Ellen have a mean streak with her guests, both celebrities and even her own audience, it turns out she is especially not a fan of people with disabilities. Within the Kevin Porter tweet, Josh Levesque replied with this: a friend of mine told me about a custodian she knew who was fired because he was slightly autistic and forgot he wasn't allowed to look at or speak to her, and he loved greeting everyone. Then there was this heartbreaking one. Lindsay Jamba tweeted, my brother is a Make-A-Wish kid. His wish was to be at the 12 Days of Ellen, which was arranged 1 month before they canceled because Ellen refuses to interact with disabled people. Crushed his heart. That's messed up and something you just can't ignore. In at number 8, Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a freak of nature when it comes to his skills on the football field, and with his big trade to Tampa Bay, the state of Florida is going to have to contain his excessive need to work out. I mean, you'd think that he'd just have a gym in his mansion, but Brady was actually caught working out in a park that was closed due to the pandemic. The best part was that when a city worker walked over to tell him that the park was closed, he thought she was just asking for an autograph, which maybe she was later on when she found out that it was Tom Brady. Either way, the city of Tampa's Twitter account even tweeted at him saying, sorry Tom Brady, our Tampa Parks rec team can't wait to welcome you and our entire community back with even bigger smiles. Until then, stay safe and stay home as much as you can to help flatten the curve. In at number 7, Doja Cat.
It's a flu. I would literally I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
Don't worry everyone, Doja Cat has cured corona, and all it took was getting exposed by her fans on IG Live. In that clip, she goes on to say that all you need to do is take some Mucinex, drink some tea, and get some rest. She continues to say several times during her IG Live that people are scared for no reason and that it's only a flu. Yes, that's why the entire planet was told to stay indoors, except for essential services, that is. In reality, she was probably downplaying the pandemic out of fear that her own tour was going to be cancelled, which it was, because newsflash, everything was cancelled. Sitting at your house though and telling your fans they have nothing to worry about is much more dangerous than she will ever know. Instead, she could be writing or creating new music, but nope, we all definitely needed this bizarre rant from another celebrity. In at number 6, Tekashi 6ix9ine. His real name is Daniel Hernandez, but under his rap name he had shot to fame with the release of his debut mixtape Day 69. However, just as he was beginning to build a career in the entertainment industry, he was arrested for violating the Federal RICO Act. These were laws pertaining to racketeering, influenced and corrupt organizations. He faced a minimum of 32 years, which was a lot better than the original 47-year sentence that he was given. After deciding to snitch on the other crimes committed by the 9 Trey Bloods, allegedly along with Mr. Hernandez, they committed a number of illegal activities including murder, robbery, and narcotics trafficking for the benefits of protecting the power, territory, and profits of the gang and its organization. Once Tekashi was on house arrest though, he couldn't just stay off social media. This is actually one of those celebrities who exposed themselves during this pandemic. Thanks to his constant flexing on Instagram, Tekashi has had to relocate several times after fans kept discovering where he was staying. In at number 5, Jimmy Fallon. During a sketch for the NBC Tonight Show host, Jimmy Fallon apologized for doing an impersonation of fellow comic Chris Rock while in blackface during a 2000 episode of Saturday Night Live. Discussion of Jimmy's 20-year-old skit surfaced after a video of it was posted online. According to entertainment trade media outlet Variety, it was posted on Twitter by a user named Chef Boy O'Dear. It showed Fallon as Chris Rock appearing on a talk show.
Rock, now we're talking. Where is he? Man, oh man, read this book. I've seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and guess what? Not a lot of black folks on the show.
When the clip began to go viral, many people called for Fallon to be fired from The Tonight Show altogether, although instead he just issued this lengthy apology. Fallon tweeted, "In 2000 while on SNL, I made a terrible decision to do an impersonation of Chris Rock while in blackface. There is no excuse for this. I am very sorry for making this unquestionably offensive decision and thank all of you for holding me accountable." He seems genuinely sorry for this mistake and fully aware now at least that even his fans are going to be holding him accountable. In at number 4, Britney Spears. Now most of these celebrities are being exposed for something terrible that they did in the past, but for Britney it was her conservatorship that was actually exposed by her fans. A Free Britney movement had started online that claimed that the celeb was being manipulated and had not been in control of her life for the last 12 years. This was approved by the court system in 2008 after Spears had several public mental breakdowns. This decision then put her entire estate, financial assets, and some of her personal assets all under the control of her father and his lawyer. Spears was spotted driving her SUV with her son Sean on her lap and not strapped into a car seat. She also famously shaved her head and was seen hitting a photographer's car with an umbrella. These are just a few examples for her father to take complete control over her life, but now that we are 12 years removed from these events, many fans feel that Britney should be able to handle her own personal matters. In at number 3, Colleen Ballinger. Colleen has said before that she has always tried to directly engage with her fans, and due to the nature of how open she is about her life, sometimes she shares too many intimate details with them. Due to her cultivating this very young audience and naming a fan as the head of her fan club, Colleen started being accused of grooming a child. The claim comes after Ballinger gave away lingerie during a live stream that she had purchased but never worn. Colleen went on to explain that when taken out of context, she understands why this would make her look like a terrible person. With no context, you just see a 30-year-old woman sending underwear to a 13-year-old fan. Very inappropriate, but as Colleen stated in her video, it was just part of the many strange things that she has sent to her fans. While addressing that in particular, Colleen said that she doesn't know what she was thinking at the time and realizes just how awful this was to do, which goes to show you how much her Miranda Sings character has really affected her real life and the decisions that she was making at that time. In at number 2, Justin Bieber. Before Justin Bieber got married to Hailey Baldwin, he was infamous for hooking up with his fans. It became so well known that he would do this, hundreds of fans would figure out where his hotel was going to be and just crowd outside of the entrance. During a Reddit that had inquired about stories of people that have slept with rock stars, this Bieber story just happened to pop up, and upon reading it, I realized just how far Bieber was taking these fan interactions. A user named Molly Moon said, "Summer of 2013, my friends and I met Justin Bieber at Music Nightclub in Toronto. One of my friends ended up leaving with Justin and his boys to go back to the Hazelton Hotel. She ended up sleeping with Justin and multiple boys from his crew. There were like 5 girls there and they made them all sign contracts and took away their cell phones. He referred to himself as JB and made everyone sit around and listen to him sing for like an hour while he continuously smoked a ton of weed." I don't know what's worse, the fact that he took away their cell phones or the fact that he made them sit around and listen to him sing. Last but certainly least, in our number 1 spot, James Franco. The dangerous thing with James Franco interacting with his fans is that he realizes just how famous he is and therefore believes that he can get away with a lot of terrible stuff. For example, the time that he decided to slide into the DMs of a fan that was underage. A girl from a small Scottish town was on a trip to New York City when she ended up getting to meet Franco at his Broadway show called Of Mice and Men. After tagging him in an Instagram video that is no longer available, James began flirting with her through the app. Lucy didn't believe that it was actually James Franco, so she inquired about proving his identity, which he did with no issue. He was then very aggressive with trying to get this fan into his bed, which really changes the way you just look at James Franco. I mean, asking if he should get a hotel room right after asking if she was single is nuts. Then to see her tell him that she would come back to NYC when she turned 18 only made him persist further, which was really gross and proved that he had crossed the line. And that's been the top 10 celebrities who were exposed by their fans part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to our editors for all of their hard work.